Welcome friends to another Dune video. Today we will examine how the Sardaukar were deployed and fought during the Battle of Corrin, which established the Corino family's ascension to the Lion Throne. Spoilers for the Dune Encyclopaedia throughout, let's get straight into it. Count Sheuset Ecevit, who took on the adopted name of Corino after the military victory there, wanted to maintain the position of his house by getting a clear victory over the other houses in the Landsrad. The Sardaukar, of course, gave him an advantage. At this point, they had never been bested in a land battle, but were at a disadvantage in space. The Count's fleet had been assembled, ready for the occupation of the planet Glarus, which was an important planet due to its richness in agriculture. A Bashar in the Emperor-to-be's forces, Abulad Harkonnen, learned of the Emperor-to-be's plan and shared this with the Council of the Landsrad, betraying him. But the Count did not know of the betrayal at this point, so the Landsrad Council were waiting to ambush the Emperor's forces between his target Glarus and Seleucus Secundus. The Landsrad forces, knowing the deadly reputation of the Emperor's Sardaukar, wanted to meet them in a space battle. But the Emperor's intelligence services were as good as that of the High Council, and he was ready for the Landsrad's supposed ambush. With his Sardaukar transferred to combat ships, he surprised the Landsrad ships and plunged his forces directly into their ambush spot. The terrain of the space battle is very important here. A collision, which may have been caused by an illicit mining and smelting operation, occurred in times before the Guild. The resulting debris, comprising dust and hot gases, as well as solid bodies, filled the Sigma Draconis system and is still in a highly agitated state. This means that the fleets, whilst they engaged, were limited to low velocities due to the environment more than tactical considerations. Torpedoes were also affected, and the shields on the ships. I assume this is the Holtzman field being infected by the environment we've just discussed. Due to the shields failing, you would think the lasguns would become more effective, as they could be used without the explosive reaction that occurs when it meets the Holtzman shield, but this was not the case, as the lasers were often diffused or deflected by the debris. Also, with the ships moving slowly to strike your enemy's shield, it would be very difficult to get to a relatively clear distance from the random area the explosion from the shield would cover. It would be a calculated risk that might destroy your own ship. The terrain also limited the navigators, who could not keep up with the shifting changes in the landscape around them. The best tactic in this place, and dangerous in normal circumstances, was to match the vector of an enemy vessel, get close, and use an intense lasgun barrage to allow a boarding party. As part of his ambush, the Emperor-to-be appears to have seen this. His undefeated terror legion, the Sardaukar, could be unleashed. The Landsrad carried very few personnel trained to fight hand-to-hand, and those that were not up to the standard of the Sardaukar. Once they were able to board a vessel, the Sardaukar quickly secured it, and then the Sardaukar turned the Landsrad vessels against their own forces. The Emperor-to-be's fleet in this way gained enough vessels to more than compensate for the Landsrad's superior numbers. The Landsrad had 72 capital ships. The Emperor-to-be had 23, but the unstoppable force of the Sardaukar let them capture 37, and 19 more that included the Landsrad's flagship were blown up by their own personnel when panic at the Sardaukar taking over set in. At the end, 3 surrendered whilst another 11 escaped. On the Emperor's side, 2 of his ships and 5 of the captured Allied ships were blown up. The one that belonged to Bashar Abalad Harkonnen fled early in the engagement. He was stripped of all his wealth and cast into exile for his cowardice by the Emperor. Now friends, I turn this over to you. What do you think to the effectiveness of the Sardaukar and their deployment? Could things have gone a different way? Did you flee from the Battle of Corrin? Comment down below.